Good late evening, everybody. Welcome. It is later than normal, isn't it? I don't have to... Sorry. I don't have to work tomorrow. I got a lot of phlegm. I got a little bit of a cough, so you'll have to forgive me here. It's later than normal. I might be a little out of it. It is 10:37 p.m. here in Florida. And I'm going to be shooting the shit with you guys for probably an hour. Whatever's on your mind. Obviously, the Mandalorian is going to come up. I decided instead of going to bed, I was going to hop on a live stream. Me and my wife just caught up with the latest episode of The Last of Us and the Mandalorian. So, The Last of Us rules, The Mandalorian's fun. We can talk about both if you want. We can talk about none of it. We can devolve into a conversation about spaghetti or pizza or whatever's on your mind. I've had 3 fingers of Kraken tonight. I'm looking, I just got out, I chit-chatted very briefly. I caught the tail end of Pink Milk's live stream. I love their podcast. If you've never checked it out, please do. It's such a fun, lighthearted conversation. They're great. I love those guys. They're fantastic. I need to communicate more with the fan base than I do. I feel oftentimes that I'm a hermit in my own little Star Wars corner of the internet. Not necessarily by design, but by necessity because of time, 10:30 is late for me, indeed, detail. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. It is past my bedtime, Vince. Even at the station, if we don't have a call, I get in bed right at 10 o'clock because sleep is precious. And yeah, man. Welcome, guys. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Vince, thank you so much for the first super chat of the stream. I greatly appreciate that, man. Vince says, I was watching an Andor the other day, and going from Andor to this is like going from Dune to Stargate Atlantis. Andor fucking laps everything else on the visuals. Captain Mossbeard, new favorite. I completely agree. Andor, who said it in the chat while the stream was loading up? Somebody, where was that? I can't find it. Somebody said they didn't like Andor. I get it, man. To each their own. To me, Andor sets the bar for everything future Star Wars films included. I love it through and through. Especially on the visuals, Vince. The directing, the cinematography, it is, in my opinion, light years better in those aspects than even The Mandalorian. But yeah, Vince, I'm still high on Andor. I'm high on the Andor supply, man. I've actually never seen Stargate. I take that back. The only Stargate that I've ever seen in my entire life is the Stargate movie. And I'm sure people that are really into Stargate have their opinions of the movie. I don't know them. I don't know anything about that universe. I know nothing about Stargate. When did that movie come out? Stargate movie. 1994. 1994. So I would have been 8 years old. Oh, I didn't realize. Is that Mila Kunis? She looks remarkably similar to her, but it's not. Interesting. Is it? No. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm in complete agreement, Vince. I'm in complete agreement. Captain Mossbeard. Yeah, the pirates in the episode were so goofy that I latched on instantly to them, and I loved them through and through. I'm assuming that they're going to play a pretty large role moving forward in this season. Could be wrong, obviously. but I would suspect that their setup is going to kind of lead into a pretty large role in this season. I actually haven't seen Atlantis either. I just had to think of a shitty looking 2000s TV series. What 2000s TV series was not shitty looking? I guess Stargate Atlantis. I've never seen a single second of that show. I don't even know if that exists. You could be tricking me. Stargate Atlantis might not even exist. That's how little I know about that world. But Vince, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. Maybe Cat. What was his real name? I don't remember. A lot of names thrown out. Captain Mossbeard. Maybe I had an instant love for those pirates just because I went to Magic Kingdom the other day with my wife and daughter. And we went on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And is it Caribbean? How do you guys pronounce it? Caribbean or Caribbean? I find that I pronounce it differently often. Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean. I think most of the time I say Caribbean. I don't know what's right. I don't know what came first. Yeah, but I suspect they're going to play a pretty large role, right? Live action Hondo. Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? I'm with you, Brock. Brock says, glad it wasn't Hondo. I'm really into them introducing new characters. 100%. 100%. We've seen Hondo. Hondo is on the Rise of the Resistance ride for damn sake. I'm you know me. I'm the new guy, right? I want new stuff all the time. And the fact that, not too many familiar faces were introduced. We saw some familiar faces that have been introduced in the series already, obviously, Bo-Katan. But it was nice to kind of be fed something new and relatively different, I say one way. Vince says, I say one way we not. Wait. I say one way when not talking about the ride, and the other way when talking about the ride. Really interesting. Caribbean. Oh, that's kind of interesting, man. Now that I think about it, I'm going to take a cruise down to the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. I might do the same thing. Interesting. Karance, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Karance says the dark side of the moon is now 50 years old. That's time keeps on slipping into the future. That's pretty wild. Is that today? Dark Side of the Moon. Release date. Let's see. March 1st. It is 50 years today. That is so wild, man. If you think about... So 50 years ago, right? 1973. Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. Coming out with this... this epic album. If you think about 50 years prior to that, 50 years prior to 1970, from 2023 to 1973, doesn't seem all that long, in my opinion. I was born in 1986, so 1973 doesn't feel all that long ago to me. But from 1973 and you subtract 50, you go to 1923. That feels like a completely different world, right? Completely different world. 50 years. 50 years. A lot can change in 50 years, right? 1923 to 1973. 1973 to 2023. I mean, arguably, the world has changed. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could, technologically wise, 1973 to 2023, you could say that the technology in that 50 years time span has changed way more than the time span of 50 years prior. But maybe the world was molded more in the 50 years between 1923 and 1973. These are the kind of ramblings that you'll get on the HelloGreedo live stream. But welcome, guys. Good to see everybody. I've been looking forward to this. I was planning on doing a little live stream late at night.
Like how we see
one
what
sec.
Din and the Armorer were talking about in episode 5 of Bob, loyalty and solidarity being the way. Every Mando was helping each other when they were getting thrown around, instead of just being cannon fodder.
Vance, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. The world is, Alexander Seaman says the world has changed a lot since 1973, more than we realize. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question about that. But when I think in my brain, I think it's because I know people, you know, obviously a lot of relatives, a lot of family members, my parents were born 1973 and prior. So the world feels a little more connected in that time span. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. And then from 1923 to whatever was 50 years before that, I'm not going to do the math. What would that be? 18. I mean, you're almost hitting the Civil War. You know? The Civil War, when you think about it, wasn't all that long ago. Three grandmas. It's kind of crazy to think about. Kind of wild. Anyway. I appreciate that, Krantz. Once again. HelloGreedo live streams all over the place. I don't even know what we're talking about, man. I dig it. I'm tired. Had a little bit of rum. Sipping on some water. I got the... can you guys hear the baby monitor? I can't call it a baby monitor anymore. She's 4 years old, but like we still have a little camera in her room. She sleeps with a white noise machine, like a sleep mate. We do too, but like I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's pretty loud in my ear, sitting on the corner of my desk. And if it's too loud, I can turn it down. But yeah. Oh, you can't. Okay, good. I was worried it was going to be a little too loud, but perfect. What's the world going to be like for her in 50 years, huh? What kind of wild I'll be, in 50 years, I'll be 86. I'll be dead. 50 years from now, what's the world going to be like for my daughter, huh? Anyway, Vance and Galactic, thank you guys both for the super chats this evening. I greatly appreciate that. Vance says, I like how we see what Din and the Armorer were talking about in episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. Loyalty and solidarity being the way. Every Mando was helping each other when they were getting thrown around instead of just being cannon fodder. That opening sequence was so much fun. It was such a great reintroduction to the series for all of us, you know. Any tight-knit group will fight for one another. Any tight-knit group would rather die than not help their fallen comrade, their fallen brothers, or their fallen sisters, you know. And the Mandalorians take it to another level. I would like to think that any tight-knit group would act the way that the Mandalorians acted at the beginning of this season. Yeah, it's interesting, Vance. Like, for me, maybe this will be an interesting topic of conversation. Maybe you guys know a lot more about the lore going back, 40 years. Mandalorians as a whole have always been, and I've mentioned this multiple times in videos and live streams, have always been kind of boring to me. You know, the generic warrior, the generic sci-fi warrior, right? Big armor, loyalty. You gotta, if you have the sword, you have the power. Like, it's similar to Klingons, I guess, is the closest comparison that I have, just because I love Star Trek. But the generic warrior has always been a little bit of a turnoff to me. And the Mandalorians kind of fit that bill very, very well, in my opinion. Now, there have been a lot of nuances, a lot of, I don't know, layers added to them over the years, which makes them a little more interesting. But, you know, the culture, it's always been a little snooze fest to me, just because it is that generic sci-fi. You pluck the Mandalorians out and you put them in any other science fiction world or even fantasy world, and they kind of feel like so many other factions, I guess, that you would find in these other franchises, I suppose. But no, I don't. Chris, what's up, man? Christopher Standard Time. Klingons, man. Whenever there is an episode of The Next Generation that is Klingon heavy, I get bored. I don't like it. It's just always like, you know, you gotta fight for the dagger, and if you get the dagger, you win, and you gotta fight for, you know, you gotta fight because your dad did something 50 years ago, and now you gotta fight to like bring honor to your name for some stupid shit that your relatives did. It's just, it's been done before. It's kind of boring, you know, but yeah. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, but Vance, I appreciate that. I love that opening sequence though that you're talking about. I'm there. What does make it interesting is that there are so many, as of right now in the story, there's multiple variations of what being a Mandalorian means. And that's what's interesting about this whole dynamic. There's the rigid ideology, the cult-like mentality, as Bo-Katan described it, that the armorer prescribes, you know. Din, for whatever reason, is pulled to that. I don't know if it's just because of upbringing, probably, you know, the nurture of it all. But yeah, I'm assuming he's not going to fall straight in line with the mentality of that sect, you know. He's already shown that he teeters on being a little bit of a free thinker when it comes to that, again, that cult-like mentality, you know. But anyway, Vance, I appreciate the hell out of that super generous super chat this evening. Yeah, we have not seen the last of them for sure. You yell Barracuda. Everyone goes, what? You yell shark. There you go, Vince. I don't know what that's in reference to. I just saw it pop up in the chat. But hell yeah, Jaws. The best line delivery of all time, Vince, is what? You know what I'm talking about. What? Richard Dreyfuss says something, and one of the chummers turns around, big heavy set dude. He goes, what? I love it. What was Dreyfuss's line? I can't remember. What? Anyway. Galactic Esquaria. Klausu Rodline, Evans Media, thank you guys so much. Yeah, that's what it is, Vince. A tiger shark. What? Love it. I want to get a print in my office of just that guy's face, like a watercolor painting of that guy just going what, like mid word. Best movie of all time? Potentially, yeah. Galactic, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. Galactic says, I genuinely, where did it go? I genuinely liked the episode. Also, great new character, Gorian Shard. Yeah, the episode was very reminiscent, and we'll see how the season goes. But the episode was very reminiscent, and of the first season of The Mandalorian. And maybe that's because the first season of The Mandalorian was a big setup. You know, we were introduced to a lot of new characters. But what I loved about the first season was how much everything kind of ping-ponged from system to system, character to character, storyline to storyline, quest to quest. And this first episode of season 3 heavily reminded me of the first season of The Mandalorian, which was my favorite season, which really, I liked it a lot better than the second season. So yeah, for a lot of reasons, I genuinely liked the episode. It was there, you know. I like when Star Wars is being goofy. I'm not one to like always want dark Star Wars. I love Andor. It might be one of my favorite Star Wars things of all time. But I like when my Star Wars is being goofy. You know, there's room for all of it. And this episode, Galactic, had a good mixture of goofiness, seriousness, action, fun, terror. And it was a hodgepodge of all the emotions that you want in a Star Wars thing. Mixed in with the ping-ponging, as I said, from system to system, planet to planet. You know, these little quests. Yeah. I just... I loved it. And I'm sure Gorian Shard is going to come into play. I'm not the biggest. Gorian Shard. Wikipedia. I'm assuming that's his first appearance. Yep, first appearance. Mandalorian Chapter 17, The Apostate, first appearance. So Gorian Shard, brand new character. I was wondering that. I should have done a Google of the character. I was wondering if like he ever appeared in a comic or something like that. But no, he's a brand new, fresh character. Gorian Shard was a pirate king and captain who led a pirate gang that operated in Navarro's sector. He employed several pirates, including Vane. A cut of Shard's treasure was used by Grief, blah, blah, blah. And Vane, first appearance. Alright, cool. Yeah, Galactic, I'm very, I think the pirates are a fun, new, interesting, formidable opponent for Mandalorian. They're not like, the Empire. They're not, an Imperial remnant. They are, they're a new foe. They're a nuisance, right? They're going to be more of a nuisance that the Mandalorian has to put up with. I can see in the future like some alliance being formed. The pirates probably have no allegiance. Their allegiance lies in the quick cash, the quick money, the quick grab. So I would be willing to bet that there will be an alliance formed, in the future. We'll see. I don't know, but I dig it. Anyway, Klausu, Rodline, and Evans, thank you guys so much for the channel support as well. Klausu says, I guess it's not canon, but I enjoyed Mandalorians and KOTOR lore. So I played KOTOR for literally a few hours when it first came out. Both of the KOTOR games. Let me take a quick sip of water here. Yeah, when it comes to Star Wars games and like everybody's love for Star Wars games, KOTOR unfortunately is one that I don't have much experience with. Like I said, I owned both of the games back in the day, but when those games came out, all I was doing was playing like Counter-Strike and Ultima Online. Those two games like consumed 10 years of my life, and everything, including Star Wars, kind of went by the wayside. Also, back in the day, I wasn't much of an RPG guy. KOTOR 1 came out in 2003 or something like that? I was still in high school. I was about to be in my senior year of high school. So, like, RPGs, for whatever reason, never really held my interest. Especially, like, turn-based RPGs. So, KOTOR... yeah, I just never got into it. It's weird. I would love to jump back into those games. I did stream the first KOTOR a couple times on the channel. But yeah, I actually was working on a video about my opinions of Mandalore lore. You probably sent that super chat because I was talking about Mandalorians and how the generic warrior of it all is was always boring to me. I was working on a video called "The Mandalorians Have Always Been Kind of Boring to Me." That's what the Google Docs is named. And then I started like looking up Mandalorian stuff in Legends and whatnot. And I typed Mandalore, like I found all these characters that just seemed so generic sci-fi to me, like Mandalore the Indomitable leading his forces atop the Basilisk war droids. Mandalore the Ultimate. I just kind of like found all these goofy screenshots or goofy, I don't know, comic books and stuff like that, and took screenshots. Maybe I'll make this video. I don't know, but yeah, dude, canon, Legends, whatever, man. It's all in your head, right? You pick and choose what you love. I've never put a huge emphasis on canon, you know, just because I'll pick and choose the stories that I love, and those are the ones that stick in your brain, right? But yeah, Klausu, maybe I'll fire up KOTOR one of these days. I think KOTOR would be a fun game to just kind of, you know, lightheartedly play while I'm live streaming. I feel like it would be good. Yeah, maybe the cutscenes and the dialogue and stuff like that I'd have to pay attention to, or maybe I wouldn't care, but it might be a fun one to just kind of live stream and shoot the shit while I play it for a few hours, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Rodline, thank you so much as well. Rodline says, I was entertained, and that's all I'm asking for. Hey, there you go. Simple. Boom. To the point. I think that's... I think that's all we can... You said that's all I'm asking for. I think that's all most people are asking for, you know. Me included. You know, you can have things like The Mandalorian that's goofy and fun and lighthearted often, with moments of terror and moments of action and moments of suspense. And then you can have your deep political thriller, your deep drama that is Andor, which I honestly prefer, but there's room for all of it, right? There's room for all of it. You know, these things are not in competition with each other, at least in my brain. Like, it's weird that there's well, I guess it's not weird. That's just how we humans are, right? We latch on to what we love, and we defend what we love, and then we kind of inadvertently, like out of our control, put down the things that we don't love as much. I'll defend Andor till my death. Wait, you loved Andor. Does that mean you didn't like The Mandalorian? No, that's not what I said. Oh, HelloGreedo liked Andor a lot. That means he didn't like this other thing. No, that's not what I said. Hey, that's not what I said. What the fuck you talking about? But, yeah, anyway. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Rodline. The Mandalorian, the show is... I think that's where the sweet spot lies, Pure fun entertainment. Goofiness mixed into Star Wars. I think you are not alone in that sentiment, my friend. Cheers. I appreciate that channel support this evening. Evans Media, thank you so much. Evans says, just got back from Disney World and Galaxy's Edge. I had so much fun, even built a lightsaber. Loved Mando, by the way. Nice having a weekly thing again. Dude, yeah, it is. It's The Last of Us is coming out right now on a weekly basis, and we're watching that as it's coming out. Absolutely love it. But it's nice to have this little weekly Star Wars thing to look forward to. I completely agree. It's you feel a little spoiled, right? Like, am I really like 20, 30 years ago, if you would have told me that, hey man, in the year 2023, no, not scratch that. In the year 2015, you're going to be getting new Star Wars, and it's just going to continue to build upon itself and compound, and you're going to continuously get new Star Wars shows and series and movies and stuff like that. My younger self would not have believed it. To have a weekly Star Wars thing to look forward to from now until the end of like mid-April, maybe? I don't know. When is it going to end? I don't know. Like late April? How many episodes are in this season? Do we even know? I don't even know. Yeah, to have something to look forward to is, I don't know. It's just a nice feeling. Absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed Galaxy's Edge and Disney World and all that. We actually just got back from Disney World, not yesterday. I worked yesterday. What is today? Wednesday? So we went to Magic Kingdom on Monday. And on Sunday, we have season passes. So we only live like an hour and 45 minutes from the park. We live really close. So we figured, let me turn the monitor back on. There we go. We figured, it'd be a good thing to get season passes for the year, and I take my daughter down sometimes on Fridays because she doesn't have school on Fridays, and sometimes I don't work on Fridays. So like we've gone down 3 times together, just the two of us, while my wife is working. We've gotten uses out of those season passes big time, Evans. But yeah, Sunday I got off work. As soon as my relief came in, when your relief comes in, for those of you who don't know, firefighter, but like when your relief comes in for the morning, you take your gear off, they put their gear on, and usually, I'll shoot the shit with the guys at the dinner table with some coffee, for an hour or so, just sitting there shooting the shit for an hour, talking about the calls that we had the day prior. And, but we were going to Disney World on Sunday. So I was like, hey guys, I'm leaving right at 6:30 when my relief comes in. And I jetted out of there super fast. And we stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge on Sunday. We got there. Our room was ready at like 10:30 in the morning. And what's really cool about this hotel is that we had what's called a Savannah room. So when you open your balcony door, like as soon as we opened the balcony door, we saw zebras and giraffes and stuff like that. You're basically facing a zoo. There were wildebeests, there were giraffes, zebras, just walking around freely, eating, sitting in the shade. So that's what we did on Sunday, and then spent the night in the hotel on Sunday night. We spent like all day by the pool. It was my daughter's first water slide. She loved it. She couldn't get enough. And then on Monday we went to Magic Kingdom. Rode a bunch of rides. You know, it's nice having the season pass just because we don't feel the pressure to do everything. You know, we kind of mosey and take our time, and you know, we still rode like 8 rides, but we don't feel the pressure to like have to do everything just because the season passes. We're very lucky that we live that close, you know. But yeah, speaking of Galaxy's Edge, Evans, for me, it's what I would want in a Star Wars park. It's a living, breathing world. When they first introduced Galaxy's Edge, I remember like somebody making an image of like Lucas World or something like that, and it looked to me no hard feelings or anything like that, but people just wanted rides, a hodgepodge of rides and stuff like that. It reminded me of Six Flags, you know. But Galaxy's Edge is, as I said, a living, breathing world. You go there and you are absorbed into this world with a story, if you pay attention to it. It all coalesces into a narrative, a time frame. That's what I'm looking for in a Star Wars, I guess, amusement park. And they do a really good job with that. I have not built a lightsaber. I don't know if I ever will, Evans. It's just not my thing. I get it, though. I completely get it. The whole ceremony of it all. It looks really cool. To me, I would rather... They have like a lightsaber shop. And I would like to buy a Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi green lightsaber. That's like where... That's the only lightsaber that I would ever want, you know? But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Evans. Glad you had fun, man. Hell yeah. It's a good time. I'm sure you tried the blue milk. It's fun. It's fun. David Smith, Steven, Vince, and Garrett. What's up, Garrett? Good to see you, man. David Smith says, "Hey, Greedo, hopped on real quick. Love the new episode. Don't care too much about Mandalore, but excited to see all the adventures leading to going there." Yeah, I think we share the same kind of viewpoint, the same mentality. Mandalorians. I never really cared too much about them. As I said earlier, they have always seemed kind of like generic sci-fi warriors, you know, generic fantasy warriors. But this episode reminded me of like the first season of The Mandalorian. You know, we're with our two main characters. They're ping-ponging from location to location. They're getting their, I guess, quote-unquote assignment, their quest. And it reminded me of the first season. I kind of hope it keeps up with that, you know. But David Smith, cheers, man. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I have no idea where it's going. I think the pirates are going to play a large role. I'm kind of guessing that there's going to be an alliance formed. My biggest my biggest guess, David, and it's just a guess, is that when Mandalore or Mando, when Din goes to Mandalore, you know, everybody assumes that this planet is desolate, destroyed, toxic, you know, uninhabitable. I'm guessing he's going to get there and there's going to be people living there. I'm guessing that those people are like going to want nothing to do with the rest of the galaxy. Leave us alone. You know, everybody thinks this place is dead. Keep it that way. You know, that's my biggest guess, is that he's going to get there. He's going to find a group of people who want nothing to do with the past. With Mandalore's past. And they just want to be left alone, you know. That's my guess. That's just a guess. But anyway, cheers, man. Steven Schinder, thank you so much. Steven says, what do you think of Clerks 2 and 3? I thought 3 was an FU to 2 and just felt like, remember when the movie, nothing new, original is best. Steven, yeah. The original is by far the best. My order of Clerks movies from best to worst, or favorite to least favorite, is the exact order of their release. Yeah, Clerks 1, just lightning in a bottle, man. Small budget. I love the story behind its creation. The dialogue, I just love that movie through and through. Clerks 2 feels more like Clerks 1. Has an equal amount of goofiness, silliness. There's a lot of new stuff introduced in Clerks 2. Clerks 3 suffers from the Rise of Skywalker syndrome. I enjoyed it. It was very heartfelt. You know, Kevin Smith, I'm assuming, you know, when he made Clerks 3, he was a different man. He had been through some shit, health-wise, and, you know, I'm sure that informed, it's obvious, that informed a lot of what Clerks 3 was. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But it felt very different than the first two. Yeah, Clerks 3 was a remember when. It absolutely was. And then when I watched it, it kind of bummed me out that, and I get what he was going for. You know, these characters these characters are him. You know, working in that convenience store, dreaming big. I get what he was going for. And when I look at it from that viewpoint, I can appreciate it. But I don't think Clerks 3 is nearly as good as 1 and 2. Now, if I look at it from a different perspective, I can appreciate it maybe more than the second one. But if I'm just sitting down to watch Clerks, I will go with the first one every time. Like, I don't really have much of a desire. For a while there, Steven, like, if I was just doing shit around the house, folding laundry or, I don't know, whatever, vacuuming, I would just put on Clerks because it's a fun, easy watch. It's dialogue heavy, so you don't really have to pay much attention. Your ears just have to pay attention, right? But I've never felt that way about Clerks 2 and even not Clerks 3, you know. But yeah. Anyway, Steve, I appreciate that, man. Vince, thank you so much. Vince says, way they wrote off Cara Dune with one line reminded me of in Happy Gilmore, where Grandma asks about his ex, and he goes, she got hit by a car and she's dead. That's it. Later, the chef show on Netflix. The chef show. Oh, where he has special guests. I have seen that. Yeah, I have seen that. I've only seen a couple episodes. I don't know which ones I've seen. I think I saw the Wolfgang Puck. Oh, I did see the Skywalker Ranch one, obviously. That just seems like a complete passion project, right? Jon Favreau likes food. And just makes this show so he can cook with interesting, cool people who also like food, right? Yeah. The Cara Dune, just kind of one line of she got recruited into special forces. Hey, you know, whatever. That's a workaround to this character not being present anymore. Yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that line. She got hit by a car. She's dead. What a fun movie. I don't know if Happy Gilmore, like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, right? I grew up watching those movies nonstop as a kid. Me and my sister watched them all the time. I don't know if I like those movies so much just, but obviously it's just nostalgia, right? But I'm sure watching them as a kid majorly shaped my love of those movies. Yeah, man, we used to watch those movies all the time. All the time. Yeah, Garrett, that's true. At least they didn't kill her off screen. That's true. There's always room for see, this is where like I feel like I get in trouble because I don't know the full I am not an always present internet person. I still don't even know the full story behind the actress's debacle. So like my ignorance makes people think that I'm like somehow defending whatever the fuck she did. I still don't really know. Like so for like here's the deal. People like me who aren't always present on the internet don't know everything that's happening, even years after. Like, I still don't fucking know. I don't pay attention to shit on the internet. My ignorance is not an endorsement. But I'm not a part of the Twitter argument sphere. So, forgive me for not knowing everything that's happening all the time. I don't pay attention to shit. Like I saw somebody tweet something at me and somebody else in like the Star Wars fandom saying like of course HelloGreedo defended, I don't even remember the actress's name. Of course HelloGreedo thinks this. He defended blank the actress's name. And I'm sitting back like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know what the fuck's going on. It's so goofy, man. Like, people who are too present on the goddamn internet, thinking that everyone else is as present on the goddamn internet as they are. Like, look, man, I have a very hands-off approach. I got shit going on in my life. I have a very hands-off approach to all this shit. So yeah, forgive me for not being having my finger on the pulse of every single thing that happens. As monumental as you might think it is, I just don't pay attention to shit. So don't think it's an endorsement or a defense. I just don't pay attention to anything. And maybe it's a little healthier not to, right? When every little thing stirs you up, stirs those Twitter fingers into a furious rage, maybe you need to take a little step back. Take a little step back. Yeah. I have a healthy relationship with the internet. Anyway. Garrett, thank you so much. It's good to see you, brother. Garrett says, was sure nice watching some Star Wars again. How's DayZ? Got to go to Galaxy's Edge for the first time this year. Myself at California Disney. Was a great time. So DayZ, DayZ was a big bust for me. Like I have fond memories of playing DayZ with some of my best friends. Years ago, when it first came out, it was still an Arma mod. There wasn't even the full release yet. But I fired up DayZ just because I'm really into The Last of Us right now. The show is fantastic, and I wanted to play something that, you know, I just wanted to play a zombie apocalypse game. And I was like, I don't know any other ones, so I'm just going to fire up DayZ. I reinstalled it. I spawned 3 times, Garrett. 3 times. Every single time I died of starvation. I don't know if the game's changed. Maybe I just didn't know what to do. But I went around looking for food. Didn't find a jar of mayonnaise. Didn't find a can of beans. Didn't find a goddamn apple. I didn't find anything. And I died of starvation every single time that I spawned in. And what's funny is I still have a desire to fire it up. I still have a desire to play it. I didn't see a single other player, and I went into highly populated servers. So yeah, I don't know. Are there other games out there that are comparable? Are there other games that could like itch that or scratch that little like post-apocalyptic zombie free-for-all itch that I have? If there are, I don't know. But yeah, DayZ, I wouldn't recommend it. It's maybe if you're playing with some friends, but solo is boring. It's a walking simulator that you just starve in. But yeah, I agree. It's always nice to, and it still feels weird to me, at least, like having these Star Wars projects like Andor. I feel like just finished, and now we have the Mandalorian. And maybe it's just because you know, I think we're the same generation, Garrett. I think we're about the same age. I'm 36. But it still feels weird. I don't know if it'll ever feel normal to have this much Star Wars stuff, you know? Yeah, I'm glad you got to experience Galaxy's Edge. The first time I ever went to Galaxy's Edge was actually in California. I went out to EA Play, and EA actually got us into Galaxy, like one of the first, I think it was like one of the first weeks that Galaxy's Edge opened. So we went and experienced it. I didn't expect that at all. Nobody expected that. So I walked around with some other YouTubers and just kind of experienced it all, and it was pretty damn fun. This was way before, a couple years before the Rise of the Resistance ride came out. You know, it was a good time. That was the first time. And then I've been to the Disney World down in Orlando, Galaxy's Edge, multiple times now, just because we have the season pass. And, you know, as I said earlier, I'll just take my daughter down when I'm not working and when she doesn't have school on Fridays, and we'll just go for the day. And it's fun, man. It's a really good time. Very immersive. They do a fantastic job. But anyway, man. Oh, 37. There you go. Yeah, so we're the same. We're the same age. I'll be 37 in a couple months. You said just get the PC version of The Last of Us. If you don't, is that out yet? The Last of Us PC. I know that was coming out. Oh, March. Okay, it's coming out this month. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, it's going to be $60. Of course it is. Of course it. I love the show. We just watched the latest episode tonight. We just caught up. I love the show. It is so the time that they take with, like, I think it was episode 3. The time that they take to explain, how can I put this? I almost said Mando. The time that they take to explain how Joel goes and gets the equipment and the supplies from this residence, this house, this makeshift compound that these two guys built. They had an entire episode devoted to the backstory of his relationship with those people and how he acquires the supplies. Does that make sense? Like, an entire episode was devoted to the backstory of this house. I love that. That it's not just hack and slash zombie apocalypse. It's character driven. And that's what I've heard about the game too. It's very character driven. I played a couple hours of the game when I had a PlayStation 3. I sold it pretty quickly, my PlayStation 3. And for whatever reason, I didn't play a lot of the game. But yeah, I'm gonna absolutely pick it up when it comes out on the PC. Even the latest episode. The latest episode was very reminiscent of episode 3. Where this I don't want to spoil anything. Well, if you haven't watched the latest episode, I apologize. I'm going to talk about it, but it was very reminiscent of the third episode where so it opens up with Joel. You know, he's bleeding out, he's dying, and then it cuts to her, and the entire episode is a flashback of this super fun night she had with another girl in a mall. And it was, the entire episode was basically an explanation of why she won't leave Joel. You know what I mean? The time, the care that they're putting into these episodes, these character driven, they man, it's just, it's so good. It's so good. It's way, I didn't really know what to expect going into it. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the PC version, man. I'll definitely pick it up when it comes out later this month for sure. $60 is a lot for a game that came out years ago. But yeah, we'll see. Honey, I'm going to purchase this video game, but everybody's finances are tight, right? Honey, let's eat cheap this week. Let's just get a giant pack of chicken breasts. Let's just eat on that for the week. Why? I thought we were gonna do stir fry. I thought we were gonna do New York strips on Thursday. Oh, Well, the Last of Us video game is coming out on the PC, and I haven't played it in very long, and I want to play it on the PC, and I never got a chance to play it on the PlayStation 3 that much, and we like the show so much, so I figured it'd be great to play the game. Anyway, that'll be my reasoning. How was the second game? I guess I'll have to get that too. I wish it just came out for the Xbox. It's the type of game that I would love to play on the Xbox. But anyway, I'll stream The Last of Us on the PC for sure. Anyway. Vance Davidson, once again, thank you so much for the channel support. Vance said, one sec. There we go. Vance says, found out you can get Star Wars Bounty Hunter on PC. Wait, what is PCSX2 for emulating on PC? It's free, and it took me less than 10 minutes to set up. You gotta play. Oh, interesting. Let's see. What is PCSX2? Never heard of this. PCXS2 is a free and open source PlayStation 2 emulator. Its purpose is to emulate PS2 hardware. Interesting. All right. Vance, yeah, it's interesting, Vance. Like, so there's two games that always get recommended to me all the time, in the world of Star Wars at least. KOTOR and Bounty Hunter, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I never played Star Wars Bounty Hunter just because I never had a GameCube. I never had a PlayStation 2. I never had a system that game came out on. So that is a game that completely passed me by. This is the first time I've heard about the ability to play it. I mean, this seems pretty easy to set up. As you said, 10 minutes. I'm gonna check this out after this stream. That would be a lot of fun to stream, because so many people have been telling me to play that over the years. I think that would make a lot of people happy. And it would make me happy as well, because I never got a chance to check it out. PCSX2. All right. I appreciate that, Vance. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I'm going to do a little bit of research. And then if all goes well, maybe the next time that I stream, it will be a Star Wars Bounty Hunter stream. That'd be kind of cool. All right. Anyway, I appreciate that, Vance. Thank you so much, man. Hell yeah. Challenging game? Oh, interesting, Blaine. Yeah, I really don't know much about it, but anyway. All right, guys. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. This was fun to hang out and shoot the shit a little bit. I will actually be doing another stream tomorrow night. Probably around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to see if I can set up this emulator if I have time. I'm not going to be home much tomorrow at all. I'm actually dropping my daughter off at school early tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to go on like a 12-mile run downtown. Maybe 12 mile. We'll see. I'm shooting for 12. I haven't really mapped out the route yet. Oh, one sec.
But not as much as the latest Bad Batch episode. As goofy as they were, the pirates were one of the highlights for me, and I now want an Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag style SW game set in space.
Mr. Nick, Darth Nicholas, thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I greatly appreciate that. Nick says, I enjoyed the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, but not as much as the latest Bad Batch episode. As goofy as they were, the pirates were one of the highlights for me, and I now want an Assassin's Creed Black Flag style Star Wars game set in space. I own Black Flag on the Xbox. I got it for free somehow. I don't remember. It's in my library. I've never played it. The only Assassin's Creed I've ever played was the one in London. What is that one called? Syndicate? Is that Syndicate? Assassin's Creed London. Yeah, Syndicate. That's the only Assassin's... That was actually the first game I ever played on my Xbox One. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, an Assassin's Creed style Star Wars game? Hell yeah. Big ass open world style Star Wars game like that would be so much fun, man. Speaking of Star Wars pie, I don't expect to see Hondo Inaka anytime soon, though, which is fine since I'm not a cameo craver. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier, Nick. How it's kind of nice that all these characters, you know, they're brand new. Vane and what was the other guy's name? Gorian Shard? Yeah. Gorian Shard. Brand new characters. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode, Nick. It was very reminiscent of the first season of The Mandalorian, in my opinion, and that's kind of what I love about the show, the first season, you know. Everything felt very new. It's still goofy to me that the reunion of Din and Grogu was done in another show. I know people are like, you watch it all then. Well, most people aren't like that, right? We have our little fan bubbles. Most people are probably going to be a little taken aback, like, why are they back together? What the hell happened? They didn't even talk about it in the recap, you know. But anyway, yeah, I haven't watched any of The Bad Batch. I don't think I watched the first episode of The Bad Batch, season 1. I don't think I have. I need to catch up. Maybe I'll do a watch party? Could we do that somehow without a copyright strike? That'd be fun to do. Yeah, the pirates, I'm sure they'll be a formidable enemy throughout the show. I'm willing to bet that there might be some kind of alliance formed between Mando and the pirates at some point. Just because, you know, the pirates don't have any allegiance to anyone. Their allegiance is to money. Their allegiance is to the quick buck. I would be willing to bet that there will be some kind of compromise, you know, in the future. But anyway, maybe I'll fire up Black Flag soon. Install it on the Xbox. That'd be fun. But anyway, Nick, I appreciate the hell out of that generous super chat channel support. I got to get going, guys. It's late. It's almost midnight. I don't like that. I got to wake up early. But all right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the fun Star Wars talk. This is a good, fun stream, man. I like doing these late night streams. Late night for me. Late night for me. But all right, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya.